For the past 2 years, one story has dominated British politics: the rise of the Insurgents. The Conservatives suffered the worst general election defeat in their history in 2024, prompting serious questions about whether the party could even recover, or if reform could replace it as the dominant force on the British right.
Most of the things this Labour government did were not even in their manifesto in 2024. And we're about to get our 6th Prime Minister in 7 years, which is sort of Italian-style fast politics going back a few decades.
Reform now has 7 MPs, has won a parliamentary by-election, and is threatening seats that once looked untouchable.
I think the great British public deserve to give their opinion. I really, really do.
On the left, with a new leader at the helm, the Greens turned local election victories into national momentum, putting pressure on Labour on issues like housing and climate policy.
So many of us are working right now just to cover the increasing costs of getting through every single day.
The old political order was losing its grip, and the insurgents were filling the vacuum. But that appears to be changing. Polling suggests the seemingly relentless rise of reform in the Greens may be starting to flatten. So, has Britain's insurgent wave finally hit its ceiling? There are 3 reasons behind why this might be. First, success brings scrutiny. Being an insurgent party comes with an enormous advantage. You can campaign against the system without being responsible for running it. The more successful you become, the harder it is to sustain. After years of harnessing anti-establishment disillusionment, reform increasingly finds itself defending its own actions. Questions around conduct mean Nigel Farage and his party are now facing the kind of scrutiny they usually direct at the establishment.
The rules are clear though, aren't they?
The rules are very, very clear. The rules are very, very clear. And believe you me, we've looked at this from every legal angle. There is no obligation to declare something that is an unconditional, non-political, personal gift. And it will ensure I can be safe for the rest of my life.
The Greens find themselves in a similar problem. Zach Polanski's rapid rise has thrust him under the spotlight. From rows over Green Party social posts such as Guillotine Gate to questions around his tax affairs are now swirling in the press.
On a boat for just under 4 years now. Recently I moved into a rented flat where I've been paying council tax because I've been renting in the house share. I think the important thing to know, and sometimes the context that's missing, is I've been facing a lot of threats to my personal safety.
For both, notoriety may be growing faster than their popularity. Secondly, protesting is easier than governing. Insurgent parties thrive on identifying what's broken, but the closer they get to power, voters ask, what would you actually do about it?
The national conversation we really need to have in this country is we don't need to agree on everything all the time. If people's fundamental values are about dignity and humanity and looking after people, then those are the values of the Green Party.
Reform and the Greens are increasingly being judged not as fringe movements, but as potential parties of government. And thirdly, the establishment is fighting back. Take Andy Burnham. The so-called Burnham bump suggests voters may be warming to a very different political pitch.
I will always be honest with the public. It's my style.
Since replacing Starmer, he's focused heavily on bread and butter issues: housing, the cost of living, transport and public services.
Building more homes that people can truly afford, building out the MBAC, technical education, life chances for all kids growing up here, bringing rail into the B network. All of these things now become possible.
Rather than promising to tear up the system, he's trying to convince voters that government can make their lives better. And that's important, because the insurgent surge is often driven by dissatisfaction with the traditional options. If Labour can convince voters that government is working again, some of the appetite for political disruption disappears.
I know people at home are fed up with politics. I hear you, and I want to be honest with you. We have not been good enough, and we need to be better. We will be.
The Tories face a similar challenge on the right, convincing reform voters they can offer change without the uncertainty of an insurgent party. That leaves reform and the Greens at perhaps the hardest stage of their evolution. Sure, they've proved that they can disrupt the political order, but can they convince voters to let them run it? Or has Britain's insurgent wave already reached its high watermark?